The second of the 10 steps is market position. So this is really trying to determine what makes us different to everyone else out there. So if we were just to ignore our competition, without really thinking about what's going on out there, again, we could put in a lot of hard work without really understanding the actual market or the environment. We could try and copy the competition, but essentially that's really hard to do if you're just a sort of blank, cookie cutter copy of something else that's out there. There's been a lot of people that tried. Again, those that have bigger budgets have won out. But essentially what you want to do is try and lead the competition, is try and determine what you can do that's totally different to anyone else out there. And what's your uniqueness? What makes you different? And everyone is different, and some of the ways that we work with our clients and the startups that we work with is to try and really nail what makes you different. One of the conversations I had I was an entrepreneur in residence for Western Base the other week, and they were saying, they had a boxing gym and a large competitor had come into the area. And they were saying, what are we going to do? And I say to them, well, what do you love about what it is that you do? And they were saying, we have family classes, we have people there that that are more mature, that love coming to the classes. People can bring their children. The trainer themselves really likes working with young adults and working them through to competition. And I was talking to her about the competitor and the other gym, and they were sort of large, they had a lot more equipment, the cheaper classes. But I was saying that how intimidating that could be actually to a certain type of person, that, potentially those that are more mature or have children might not want to go to these really large classes with a lot of people that are really focused just on the competitive nature of boxing. And so in doing that, we sort of worked within half an hour, worked through, the appeal that her boxing gym had against this large new competitor that was offering, lower priced classes. And so then they could focus really on serving that type of customer. And whilst it feels fearful to serve just that type of customer, actually, by specializing in a way and understanding what makes you unique against the competition helps you then really craft a nice little business from it. So what we want to do is think about what makes us different. And it could be, especially in the startup world, that we don't have any competitors, because what we're suggesting is completely new to the market. But what we say instead is, what are the alternatives? And we want to understand what a customer might consider as an alternative, because even if you're suggesting something that's new to the market or a new idea, there is an alternative out there already. People are doing something. So we have a co-working space as a client, and you could say that other co-working spaces are their competition. However, actually working from home is the competition, because if you're not in a co-working space, then potentially you're working from home, especially for the flexible hot desks. So seeing working from home as the competition then helped them craft the message that talked about the benefits of co-working over working at home. So it's not just about seeing who your competitors are and how you might differ from them. It's seeing what the alternatives are. What are the alternatives to your product or service, so that you can essentially create the right messaging about why your solution is going to make a situation better or improve it. We use a framework that's influenced by Blue Ocean strategy, which is a little bit morbid, because on one side we've got the red ocean, which essentially is one fish being attacked by many sharks, which is meant to reflect the number of businesses going after the same customer. So if we have one customer and all these businesses going after it, the sea soon turns red. What we want to create is a blue ocean where we are the only shark going after the customer. So we use this framework, but from a human-centered point of view. So what does your customer consider? and how do you rank against the competition, and where can you innovate? So here, if you're a product or service, you might start to think about, well, what would a customer consider when choosing this particular product or service? For example, if I'm a graphic designer, what would my customer think about if they're going to choose a graphic designer? They might look at cost is usually one of them, value for money. They might think about your experience, how many years experience you might have. They might think about have you done work in this particular market before? They might look at whether you've done this particular design work, whether it's a brochure or whatever. So you start to list all of the things that the customer might think about when choosing your product or service. What are the things that a customer thinks about? Then what you want to do is think about how you rate against the competition or the alternatives in your customer's mind. So from a customer's point of view, as a graphic designer, I've got 10 years experience, but my closest designer competitor has 5 years experience. So potentially I rank higher, so I can talk about my experience in my messaging. What can I do in my customer's eyes that will make me more innovative? Well, actually, my customer wants to be able to do some of the graphic design themselves. They don't always want to use a graphic designer. So actually, can I come up with a template that they can use? Can I offer a service that helps train them in basic graphic design? What can I add on to my product or service that's going to stand me apart from the competition? What is it that my customer wants? Really, what do my customers want, and how can I add in a product or service that's going to stand me apart from the competition? And that's really the trick to coming up with innovative solutions to your customers' unmet needs.